Florida is one of 7 states that ban open carry of handguns, but a move is now underway to change that. A bill has been introduced in the Senate that allows people with a permit to carry openly. As NRA past President Marion Hammer told me, this legislation is simply common sense and long overdue. Marion, always good to talk to you.
Good talking to you, Jenny.
A bill has been filed in the Senate to change the law and allow permit holders to openly carry their handguns. Sounds like this is something that's been a long time coming.
Actually, yes, it has, Jenny. Open carry was one of those things that we lost here in Florida when we passed concealed carry because the gun haters said that carrying openly would scare people. So we ended up with open carry being banned in Florida 24 years ago, and the time has come to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Why is it, as you were saying, it's common sense. Why is it so important to make sure this is taken care of?
Well, under current law, if you have a license to carry, you can carry concealed. But there's the problem of accidental or unintentional exposure of a firearm that's being carried by a license holder. As silly as it may sound, if a license holder is carrying a concealed firearm and the wind blows open a jacket or a shirt exposing the firearm, the person can be charged with a crime for violating the open carry law.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line.
It is. And, you know, common sense dictates, this is Florida. It gets really hot here in the summer. A lot of times folks might go into a restaurant or into, a meeting, and they have on a suit with a coat, and it's hot, and they want to take off their jacket if they're carrying in a shoulder holster or in a pants holster. They can't take a jacket off and expose the firearm because then they would be violating the open carry law. It's just silly.
Yeah. As you were saying about the Brady campaign, but it's no surprise they're still against it. They're still saying exactly what you're saying. This is about safety, that it's frightening to see, a gun in public. But I'll tell you what's more frightening is if you're a victim and you have no way to defend yourself and you got a gang member, nothing's going to stop that guy.
Isn't that the truth? But let me tell you about the Brady campaign since you brought it up. They were quoted in the paper a few days ago on January the 7th saying that 46 states allow open carry. 34 states, they say, allow without a permit, while 12 states require a permit. Now, what they didn't say is that open carry is not now, nor has it ever been a problem, and that only 4 states, including Florida, prohibit open carry. And the only thing that that Brian Malte was quoted as saying was that open carry could be troublesome. He said open carrying of loaded guns is problematic for public safety and for law enforcement, because it's frightening to see people carry loaded guns in urban and suburban environments. Frightening for who? For him? They don't seem to mind it in 46 states. So, they were saying the same thing 24 years ago here in Florida when we passed concealed carry. So the time has come to fix it.
Yep, and Governor Scott, during his campaign, I know he promised to sign the open carry bill. So how's it looking?
Well, there are a number of provisions in that bill. It's not just open carry. There's a housekeeping measure in there for division of licensing. There's also carry on college campuses if you have a license. I mean, this will also remove another needless restriction on Second Amendment rights. It will allow persons with licenses to carry on campus for self-defense and other lawful purposes. You know, in order to qualify for a license, a person has to be 21 years of age or older. We're not talking about teenage freshmen or underclassmen, so folks shouldn't let anybody put that false image in your head. However, we need to remember that this country asked 18-year-olds to go to war and die for this country, but we don't let them carry firearms until they're 21 years of age or older.
Yep.
And the reality is, when we do let them carry, we currently are denying that right if they decide to go to college and get a better education and make a better life for themselves. If they're over 21, they ought to be able to carry that firearm.
And the bottom line, it's all about self-defense, and so is the storage and vehicle provision in this bill.
Absolutely. And we're making some corrections to the storage in vehicles provision because of a situation that happened this past summer. There are businesses that think they can arbitrarily ban guns on their property. The case that outraged legislators and us involved a cemetery that last summer decided to ban guns on cemetery property. And there was a father who had already buried his son who had been killed in a car crash in that cemetery. And that father always carries his gun in his truck, and frequently he would visit his son's grave on his way home or going to and from. When advised of the new gun ban regulation by the cemetery, he was presented with several choices. Number one, quit carrying his gun. Number two, move his son. And number three, come to us and ask for help. He chose number three.
Yeah.
And so it is outrageous that anyone would consider banning firearms in vehicles that are merely stored there while you get out of the vehicle and do something else.
And it's outrageous that a man like that, in a situation like that, put in a position where he becomes a criminal.
Yes,
just because he wants to defend himself.
He could, after being notified that the business banned guns, if he brought the gun on the property anyhow, he could be charged with trespass with a firearm, which is a felony in this state.
Yep. So it sounds like you got your work cut out for you, but you think the support's there?
I do.
Yeah. Like you said, simple common sense. It's got to be done. So we'll see what happens. I guess gun owners can start making their calls and urge the lawmakers to get this through.
Indeed. And we expect the House bill to be filed shortly. And Representative Chris Dorworth, in line to be Speaker down the road, will be filing the House bill. So we're looking forward to working this piece of legislation, and it'll correct a number of injustices and give back rights that gun owners should never have had taken away.